Merry Christmas, and I finally watched this movie. I know, this movie had a week-long run in theaters about a month ago. Everyone saw it and reviewed it then. I did not, I just didn't have the time. All good things to those who wait. Now it's finally on Netflix. I watched it, so now here is my review. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. So Glass Onion is a sequel, spin-off, next installment, whatever you want to call it, to Rian Johnson's Knives Out, which came out about 3 years ago. Everyone was talking about it when it came out. And it's funny, the first one was a theatrical release, but this one and the next one, they're gonna be Netflix movies. So in Glass Onion, we have the return of everyone's favorite Southern detective played by a British actor. Daniel Craig is back as Benoit Blanc, because Edward Norton has invited all of his friends to his huge mansion on his own private island. But something's gone amiss. Once again, I do suspect me some foul play. That accent's just really fun to do. There is once again a murder mystery. And here we go with Knives Out 2. And yeah, this movie is a lot of fun. Is it crazy? Yes. Is it ridiculous? Yes. Is it over the top? Absolutely. Way more so than the first one was, from what I remember. I mean, I saw it the one time in theaters. I admit I have not watched it again since, although it was pretty memorable. Alright, Daniel Craig in this movie, I mentioned in my review of the first one that his accent, I did get used to it. In this one, I don't know why, maybe I've changed in the past 3 years, but I found his accent to be annoying. I think it's because he's exaggerating a lot, he's overacting, which you'll see from everyone in this movie. I'll get to that in a minute. With Daniel Craig in this movie, he's talking like this, like I just solved this clue. Here we go, I'm going to explain it to everybody. It was funny, I laughed a little bit. I don't know if that was the intent, but it happened. Edward Norton also stands out in this movie. And I noticed something about his character. He's so confident in his words that sometimes he'll even use words that I was like, wait, what does that mean? I don't know the definition of that word he just used. But he speaks with such conviction that you just kind of fall into it. You're like, I don't care. I don't get what he's talking about, but I'm buying his performance. And among the friends he invites to his island, we have some pretty good names in this cast. Kathryn Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Dave Bautista. But the one that really stood out to me, and I'm sure everyone's gonna agree with this, Janelle Monáe, man. I haven't really seen her act in a lot of movies. I know she's a good singer, but this movie showed me, no, she's ready to be in feature films. Because I thought she was actually great in this movie. Her character is the one with the depth and the backstory, or at least the most depth and backstory among all the friends. She's the one where you're like, okay, what's your deal? Ooh, okay, that's kind of tragic. No spoilers, I'm not gonna give away any major plot points, but just keep an eye on her in this movie, that's all I'm saying. But back to the overacting though, yeah, this movie is really exaggerated, both in atmosphere and characters. Compared to the first movie anyway, the characters in this one are like, they're cartoonish almost. Well, alright, I guess Toni Collette was pretty cartoonish in the first one, from what I remember. But in this one, man, Kate Hudson, I found her to be really obnoxious. Same with Dave Bautista. Both of those characters in particular, I was like, you're playing exaggerated versions of what you were cast as. Granted, the movie knows that. I'm pretty sure Rian Johnson, who came back to write and direct this one, he wanted it to be more lighthearted than the first one. So he told all the actors, including Daniel Craig, to really play it up. Alright. Doesn't change the fact that their overacting at times got on my nerves a little bit. I was like, alright, you can tone it down just a little bit. This movie is a lot simpler than the first one actually, which I did appreciate a lot. In my review of the first one, I said it got really complex by the end with this big exposition dump. This movie does have something like that, but I was able to keep up with it, unlike the first one, where I was like, alright, if you say so. In this one, I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense. I'm following with it. Maybe it's because I've matured in 3 years' time, maybe it's because this movie dumbed it down from the first one, I don't know. But I liked it. I liked the story of this movie, I liked the twists and turns, because every whodunit mystery movie has to have a twist and turn. I mean, that's in the nature of the genre. I still haven't seen a whole lot of whodunit movies in my life. I've still never seen Hateful Eight. But the mystery in this one, I liked it a lot, and I liked it because the trailers don't really talk about it that much. There's more going on in this movie than the trailers let on. Which again, of course, I mean, it's a whodunit. That's in its nature to do. However, adding on to the crazy nature of this movie. I know I keep comparing this movie to the first one, I mean, it's fair. But the first one was really simple. It's a family in a house, and everyone's a suspect. In this one, it's friends on an island, but things do get crazy. Like almost to a turn off your brain kind of degree. I don't know if something like this could really happen in our world. Like the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa painting is like a part of the plot in this movie. The facts this movie gives you surrounding that, I was like, I don't know if I necessarily buy that as reality. I mean, this isn't based off a true story or anything, I'm saying the reality within this movie, you know what I mean? But it did make sense within the context of the movie. You just kind of got to turn off your brain for a little bit of it. You're like, okay, so this isn't really meant to be taken seriously like the first one kind of was. It's a kick your feet up and have a good time kind of film. Which, hey, I can totally do. I mean, look at the crew, look at the poster. It screams vacation, island, sit back and relax. That's what you're meant to do when watching this movie. So you do that, you'll enjoy it to its fullest. The movie knows what it is. I can't say there's anything bad about that. It knows it's crazier than the first one. It knows it's more unrealistic than the first one. I'm guessing that's what these Knives Out movies are gonna be now. Just these fun murder mysteries that might be a twinge unrealistic, but still very much enjoyable. I mean, another over-the-top element in this movie is the score, which is once again composed by Nathan Johnson, Rian Johnson's cousin. And the score in this one, man, it's like really overdramatic during the dramatic scenes, granted. But still, like, that's what added to it. I was like, all this drama's going down, and I'm like, yeah, this is a bit too overdramatic for this point. Everyone might not agree with me, but that is what I was thinking. However, this thought did cross my mind. Maybe if I had watched this on a bigger screen, say a movie theater screen, I wouldn't have thought that. Maybe the film was more fit to be watched on a theater screen. I don't know, if that were the case, then maybe this shouldn't have been a Netflix film. But from my perspective, watching the movie last night, some of the big dramatic scenes with big dramatic score just felt like they were a little too much. It's like the movie's screaming at you and you just want to be like, alright, I get it, you don't have to shout, I'm right next to you. You can just tell me, you know? I feel like I'm griping about this movie more than I probably should. I enjoyed the hell out of it for sure. It's just probably not going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. But I did have a really fun time with it. The setup was a bit choppy. Like the opening scenes, the intro to the movie, I was like, alright, this is all kind of disconnected. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But then once the story actually gets going, you get into it and you're like, alright, cool. I appreciated that this movie was simpler than the first Knives Out movie. I was able to follow it all the way through. And I ended up really loving the twists and turns. All in all, if you can just lay back and relax with this film, you'll have some solid fun with it. And I'm totally looking forward to seeing what they do with Knives Out 3. I'm wondering if they're gonna name it after another Beatles song. So, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Have you watched it yet? Probably. What are your thoughts on it, and which one do you like better, the first one or this one? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, not only is today Christmas, but tonight is also the last night of Hanukkah. Quite the festive day indeed, so I hope everyone has a fantastic day today. I know I have. I mean, I'm serious when I say thank you for subscribing, because your subscription, even you just watching this video without subscribing, if you watch it, that's a present to me, that's a gift. So seriously, thank you so much. Peace!